Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and this is the second video with the new view. I've noticed the first one when I was reviewing it that the audio seemed a little off from the video. So hopefully once I get Camtasia, which I'm still waiting on a license key, being a MVP from Microsoft, some companies give you license keys to their products, and Camtasia has been one that I've used a lot. And I'm just waiting to see if I can get the one for 2020 and hopefully split the audio and video and move that around so it aligns a little bit better. I'm also noticing that OBS is sometimes giving some, I'm going to check real quick if it's still doing it. No, it's not now. It sometimes gives us overload error or something or warning. And I'm not quite sure why it's doing that with my laptop. It's not doing it right now, but that might be something too I switch to when I get to Camtasia, is actually using that to also doing the recording as well as the editing. So, and then I'll just get rid of OBS completely, but we'll see. For now, it is what it is, and that's what I'm going to use. So what am I going to do this morning? Well, first of all, if you do hear thunder or anything in the background, we've had some big storms come through last night, and it's still out this morning. It's raining right now. There was some thunder this morning as I got up, because again, I'm doing this in the morning and trying to get this in an episode or two before I do the day job. So if you hear the thunder in the background, I actually like the noise of thunder and rain. You know, if it's not threatening. We actually had a tornado watch last night, and thankfully nothing happened here, though I think east of us in Wisconsin there was a sight of a funnel cloud. But you know, it's weird because my kids would get, when they were younger, obviously concerned and scared if there was a need to go into our crawl space. But I was thinking, anywhere you go, pretty much in the world, there's always some natural disaster that can come for you. You know, unless you live maybe somewhere out in like some of the flatter lands in Utah or Arizona, maybe flash floods could get you. I don't know. I mean, there's always something, and like with storms and tornadoes, we have a lot more preparation and watches and warnings than we do with earthquakes. You know, they're trying to move towards figuring out if there's precursors to earthquakes and giving people more warning, but it's not there yet. Whereas with tornadoes, they know that, hey, the system that's moving through, and we know how fast it's moving, and we know the conditions that you need to have tornadoes arise. So they still are a concern, and if they are coming towards your area, you obviously have to hide. But it's not so much of a complete out of the blue thing that it used to be. So it's good in that perspective. So at least we told our kids last night, just so you know, if there's if you hear the sirens, you know, we'll get the cats. And speaking of the cats, I'm going to say this quick before I get into this. We now have a new cat in our family, Sully, and I'll put a picture up right now so you can see the cat. And we decided to get another cat, kind of against even though I love cats, I didn't want to have a third. It's kind of it always feels like a little awkward to me, especially when you introduce a new little kitty to two cats that are kind of getting up in their age. So, but our younger son had been asking for like a bird or a kitten, and a couple days ago, my wife, the overtly aware saint that she is, she had to go somewhere. I think it was to the dentist, and she was walking out. She noticed a duck crossing, because right by our dentist is railroad tracks, and she noticed a duck near them with some ducklings, but there was one that was being left behind, and it might have been injured or sick or something. Well, she picked it up, grabbed it, and then brought it home. And they were going to try to see if they could get it to some kind of animal shelter or whatever. So my younger son is holding this little bird, and this is all kind of oblivious to me. I'm downstairs here in my office working. And I took a little break to get some coffee or something, went upstairs, and there my wife and my younger son are on our deck just bawling their eyes out. And I was like, what's going on? Well, I guess the duckling had died. So it really hit my younger son hard. And, you know, I think after talking to my wife about it, you know, she said he doesn't ask for much, and he really wants something like this. And I thought a kitten is better than a bird in a lot of ways. So hopefully. So we got the cat, Sully. Why Sully? We don't know. Just name Sully, so it's Sully. And I was actually a little sad because when we got him in our house, and we've been keeping him in my bedroom for now, and you know, he would hide. He was just hiding in the bathroom, like behind the toilet. He just he wouldn't really want to move out because he was very scared and very skittish. And the cat that we have right now, Tweak, when we have Tweak and Mittens, and when we got Tweak, it was right before Hayden was born, my older son. He was in the bedroom that he had started, that we had like his crib and everything, and he was sitting in the chair, and I went in there and I picked him up, and he just purred. He was so happy, but he was already used to humans, and he already had been in, like, I think, a house or two. And Sully, I think, was just like in shell shock or whatever you want to call it. So it was a little, disconcerting. My kids were already in there playing with him, and he was getting a little bit more acclimated to him. So finally, I think Friday afternoon, I was able to spend a little bit more time and sit in there and play with him. And as soon as he would like start coming out and getting closer to me, all of a sudden something clicked, and he just started, like, he'd play with a little toy, and then he'd come right next to me and like sit right next to me, and then, crawl between my legs. And now the switch has been turned. He is extreme. In fact, when I get up in the morning, I have to now be very careful because he wants to be so close to me. He'll walk like between my legs, constantly meowing, and you get what you wish for, I guess, sometimes. So he's a kitten. He's very, not feisty, but very excitable and very playful, and that. But when he wants to just cuddle or just nap or whatever, like last night, I went and just read before I went to bed, and he was just curled up right next to my shoulder and just was sleeping. And yeah, so now I'm happy because we have a cat that is actually being a little bit more a part of the family. We still haven't introduced them to our cats yet. They have seen him a little bit, just inadvertently. There will be some hissing. It's going to happen, but I think they are all aware of each other's existence. So we'll see how that goes. Speaking of things that will go, let's actually get into some code. So I don't want to spend time doing too much with rocks because there's going to be the big switch where I'm going to try to move it over to being a source generator. And I've been thinking a lot about this in my, like, if I'm just cutting the grass, or if I'm kind of doing something meaningless, or not meaningless, but just kind of monotonous or repetitive, about how I want to structure this and how I want to, take it on, and what are some of the things I think I might run into as problems and issues. And so one of the things I might do is revisit a package I created called inline mapper or something like that. And it was just this idea of doing like a refactoring that would see a piece of code and say refactor to inline or whatever, and then it would change that and do all the auto mapping inline. So what I want to try to do is change that into a source generator so that when you are trying to, like, whatever you do in your code, it will actually end up making a static extension method or something like that. I don't know. And that will have the inline map there, and it'll have like aggressive inlining on the method. And then it will also detect if you've changed the type that is either the source or the destination, then make sure to rerun that code for that and redo the mapping. Because that's the things that's the things I really got to be concerned about. The code to do the actual generation of the mock has to be revisited because that's all done through a lot of reflection. And if I do it as a source generator, there really is no ability to do source generation. I'm sorry, to do reflection. So I have to use like the semantic model and other things within Roslyn, and hopefully that'll be enough to handle the generation. But the even that, like the mocking, the rules, the validation, everything around that, that's already known to a large degree. But some of this is going to change, and the things I'm really concerned about are how do I trigger when it should be generated, and how do I handle that I know I've already generated it for that. If somebody or somewhere else in a test wants to create a new mock of that type, well, I've already created that, so I don't need to do it again. But if that type changes, then I need to see, did I generate that before, and update it if necessary. So there's lots of things I want to keep in mind there. So I figured let's revisit the inline mapper and see if I can get that to be a source generator and have it work the way I'm hoping it will, and then we can get really deep dive into rocks and figure that one out. All right. So I want to handle just a couple of minor things. I think I have them here. Okay, so this one, and I think the other one, is really about, if I remember right, yeah, let's go here. Allow null and remove allow null suppressions. Let's actually read these real quick. Oh no, this is something else. Yeah, this is that question mark, which I don't know if they've actually done yet or not. So, and I don't think I've heard that they have. So actually 120 is not the same thing. Okay, come on. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Let's take that one out because we're not going to address that one. We are going to address this one though. And I think I put this one in because eventually we want to get rid of this, because when we do the question mark, text right as a new line property, remember to upgrade all new packages. Okay, so we're going to do a thingy with the stuff. And what I need to do is, yeah, I need to now find the repository. Clone an existing repository, choose rocks, select folder, add. Yes, okay. So this is going to be 124 allow null. And any other shenanigans that happens really with updating the packages. That's what we're going to be getting into. Okay, so, Control P, publish branch. Okay, I like that. And I've heard the Git tooling in 2019 has actually gotten much better. So maybe I should try to play with getting used to it within Visual Studio. Of course, somebody say you should just do it from the terminal, do it from the command line, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I need to. Like, I understand the basics of Git, but I really need to sit down and understand more of the details and get my head around it. So, in any event, we are here. So let's start updating some NuGet packages. Say update. What do we got for updates? We don't need that. We're going to pick all these. We're going to say update. Does the output go away? Because again, with installing on a new computer, it sometimes Visual Studio doesn't remember all my choices. Although, do I have sync? That's a good question. Control synchronize roaming settings online from the connected ID. What's this? Environment. Entry, I think I'm using embedded web browser. Sure. Sure. Okay. Well, I'm not going to get too. Oh. So they do have the terminal. Okay. I guess they did add it. Cool. I'm going to have to investigate that a little later. All right. So we got that. What are we in? We are in batch build. What? No. Configuration manager, that's what we want. Release. Actually, let's stick with the bug because I have the feeling that if we run all the tests, there's going to be that one that's going to fail, and that's the one that we need to dive into and figure out what's going on and what the problem is. And I do have to watch the clock because I have to read a couple of things before I have a meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. So I can't get too distracted with this. It's that big one that's going to fail. That's the one that was failing before in a previous episode. Did you hear that? Thunder. Yep, there we go. We got the one failing. Okay, so let's do the thing with the stuff. Okay, why do you cannot open the following file? But it's, you know what? Okay. Because what we're going to do is, actually give me a second. I'm going to report this as a problem because this to me is a problem. So give me a second. I'm going to stop the time on my timer over here and I'm going to submit this as a problem. Okay, that's reported. It's kind of weird sometimes also on my screen. Certain windows that if they open them up using, I would assume Edge, not Internet Explorer, are kind of dark too. I don't know why it's doing that, but it is what it is. In any event, all right, so it's in compiler 1. Well, the compiler. Jeez. Compile. Yes. Okay, so let's run this long test, get the list of issues, and then let's see if we can figure it out. I think I actually did figure it out. Did I put any notes in here? The new line property. Yeah. Okay. So, oh yeah, we have what? No. Oh, again, that's right. I bet that fooled me because something runs before that does. That's right. There's one that runs before that one does. I bet if I go back to my video and see that, I'll be like, yeah, same thing. What threw me? All right, we only have 6 though, so that's good. So we got that going for us. All right, so let's put this over here. Yep, these text writer things. So now the coffee kicks in. How do I do this? Okay. So we're going to stop because that captures the files. We're going to grab that. Let's see, open that. Come back here. 1643. Is that right? No, yeah, because it's of, yeah. All right, string new line. And then that's why I had here that, because we need to get AllowNull onto the property. All right, so how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, let's look in our generators, or our templates. Get property. And all these just have visibilities on if needed. I don't think I ever even handled for, like I thought for classes, I had a way to say, yeah, class attributes. And then did I do that for methods? Do I have like method attributes? I can't remember. Return type attributes. Can you have an attribute on a method? Yeah, you can. So I don't have them on the method. Huh. That's something I'll probably have to eventually handle. Although I think I have an issue within rocks that talks about that. All right, so somewhere within here, we have to be figuring out what the class attributes are. So let's take a look at that. So methods, properties, constructor result, base type namespace, serialization supported. Is that it? There's too many arguments to this. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? It's the 9th argument. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9th argument. So yeah, we really don't handle actually looking at the type and seeing if there are any attributes there. And that's not good, because we definitely need to know if if there are any attributes. I wonder, do I do anything where I search for? That tells you if you need, yeah. We do a lot with obsolete attribute. What is this? Get attributes. That is that. So we do have a way to do this. Okay. Again, you think, well, you wrote this. Shouldn't you remember all this? I don't spend every waking moment of my day with this library, so I sometimes don't know what I've done or what I haven't done. So this library is always teaching me it's good to have things structured and named well. That doesn't mean that I have it all that way. It's just either sometimes I do or sometimes I don't. I'm sitting there going, what do I do? So this actually works on, again, what does it work on? A parameter info. Shoot, we're gonna, yeah, I think I remember right. This is, yes. Yes, so if we can get the, if it's not a nullable, is nullable attribute. Oh yeah, that's the nullable attribute, yeah, okay. So if it's not a nullable attribute, and why are we passing in the parameter? That's only for up there, right? Yeah. So why are we... Huh. Because all I really care about is to say, hey, give me parameter is out, parameter spiref, and it's either an out parameter array attribute or optional attribute. It's not that case. But we don't even care about it being a parameter. We really just want to cut that part out and do the rest of this, right? This is the good stuff, I believe. And then what we really need to do is get attributes for a property info. Because get custom attribute data, I believe, oh, it is virtual. So if it's an I custom attribute provider, okay, so let's write some notes down. So I think I can do a little bit of restructuring here, I think. So let me think about this. I think I first want make an extension method for I to as except it takes a next virtually all the logic is the same except it doesn't take is return and parameter. Next, change parameter info extensions so it's has the logic from you need to have has the logic from this to generate the attributes if based on this and is return. So that shouldn't change that. All that's going to be the same. That would actually just call, no, that's going to change to do the logic to say if it's like not null and then all that stuff. And then it will actually call and say, get the customer attribute data, get the data, and then it will have in here a way to say, if it's not a null attribute thing, then blast through and do all this. So I think that's the right refactoring, restructuring that we're going to need to do. Okay, next we do that. Next, we need to pass in the attribute list for property declarations. And I think that's the only one we're running into. Rock Stream Writer. Let's take a look real quick. I'm not going to solve this in this one, but let's see. And this one is 1718. So it's another one. Okay, 5 columns. Let's close this one. Please tell me I didn't close. Okay. So we want to do iCastable. That's one. Then that'd be 29. So is instance of interface. But it's interesting because we are getting them on the parameters, so the parameters are okay. It's just on the property declarations and okay, so oh yeah. Next, for method return values, we also need to get the list of attributes, not just obsolete attribute. And that'll be tricky because I'm going to have to munge the two together that I'm doing this logic on. So that will be fun-ish. All right, what's this? Huh? Oh, look at where it's saying. But that's the same one. Okay. Exiting with true, exiting with true. Okay, so I think if I handle these, the last one actually I think is going to be the harder one to do. So I may get around to doing that later today or something like that. But we're out of time for this episode, so in the next one I will try to address this and do this work, and hopefully I don't screw it up too much. So thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.